Now here's your host, the Fly Esquire, attorney Nyanza L more on 953 Jams. Hello and good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Is this the first Friday of the year? I think it is. They used to have parties called First Fridays. You know, I used to go to them all the time back in 1875, but they don't do that anymore. They need to bring that back. I hope you all had a wonderful transition from 2023 to 2024. I hope you're all in a good mood. I hope you woke up spirited. If you woke up on the Satan side of the bed and curse somebody else like I did yesterday, well, then you're probably just hungry, or you're probably just angry, or you're probably hangry, and on the same combination. But I'm doing the Daniel fast, so my wits are not all the way about me. I got to pray it up, send it up to Jesus. I have to pray for Eric that he can take this smoke. I've been giving him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If I could just eat a carb, it's just like a crackhead. If I could just have a little bit more crack, it's just like a hair relaxer for the women who are facing hair cancer. It's just like the creamy crack. Once you've had the creamy crack, you want to go back. Once you've had the biscuit at Davis Street on the day before your fast, you want to go back, but you can't go back because you have to make sure that you invest in what God's plan is for you so that when you need to make a withdrawal, He will feed you your good blessings. So we have a great show for today. It's Friday for a reason. There was so much tea going out in 2023. That smoke was hot. The smoke was thick. It looked like a volcano erupted in Simone Biles' marriage. Yes, honey, that's Simone Biles. You know the one we all know, Simone Biles. Simone Biles. Can you say that? With the gorgeous Colgate smile, Simone Biles, who can probably do a backflip off your car, jump on your trampoline, and do a triple tuck. That's Simone Biles. You know the one on the cover of the Wheaties box, the one that's got all the gold medals, the one that decided to just go ahead and just flip her way to success, even though she is adopted, even though she didn't have the best beginning. But seemingly, I know who Simone Biles is, and I'm not a gymnast. Well, I was a gymnast, but I know who Simone Biles is. I was so elated to see that she got married. I thought, ooh, wonderful. I hope she married her a good catch. I hope she's got her a good guy. Look at how nice he looks in that tan suit. That was the first dig. Look at how nice he looks. He looks like he's just so happy to see her coming down the aisle. And I thought, wow, what a wonderful fairy tale. I am so glad. And this is what I thought in my head when I didn't know him. This is what I thought in my head when the internets, the media, was telling us what to think about this new budding marriage with Simone Biles and her husband, Mr. Biles. So when they got married, I thought, this is wonderful. I hope that she's married a guy that wants to, make sure that she's mentally prepared, somebody that she can talk to, lean on, make sure that she always is looking her best, is always at her best, somebody that is always propping her up, not bringing her down, somebody that when they're in a room full of people, he wants to make sure that she looks good, he looks good, they look good as a couple, and they are tight, they are one. Well, I don't think that Mr. Biles got the memo. I was a little bit confused when my 15-year-old daughter said, Mommy, did you see what Simone Biles' husband said about her? I said, what do you mean? Did I see? No, I didn't see. I don't follow the internet like that. I said, she just got married like a few months ago. She's like, yeah, but he said that he didn't know who she was. And my daughter's 15, mind you, but she's very, very up on pop culture. She stays in the know. Shout out to Kennedy, staying in the know. So she, Mama, you need to talk about it. You need to talk about it. I said, okay, well, what did he do? He said that he didn't know who she was. I said, well, that's a lie. Now, what else did he do? Men lie all the time. So, well, Mommy, he said that he was the catch and not her. I said, well, apparently to her, he is the catch. And so if she thinks he's the catch, then he's something that she's been chasing. And what do we know about chasing? Women don't chase. No, they don't. Wile E. Coyote chases. The roadrunner. The women are the roadrunners. Remember, Wile E. Coyote is all hairy, sweaty, with his tongue hanging out, like, gotta get it, 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 gotta get it. Well, if Wile E. Coyote is doing that for the roadrunner, every time you see them on a Warner Brothers cartoon, Roadrunner is running, trying to get away. And the more the Roadrunner comes up with clever ways to run away, the more Wile E. Coyote chooses to chase after Roadrunner. So what does that tell you? If for any moment the Roadrunner took a pause to get a drink of water, the Coyote would see that as his time to get a drink of water too. But once that water was sipped, the Coyote would start saying, okay, Is the chase back on? Is the chase back on? It keeps the coyote running after you when there's something to chase. Now, if you have a role reversal, and I'm going to say most of this is my Girl Get Your Act Together podcast, which I know you know and love because you've been following me on the Ticker Talker, which I love. So shout out to my TikTok fans. But if you begin a chase by being the hunted, right? You're being the hunted. When you're the hunted, it means that somebody wants you desperately. They either need to consume you, be up under you, be inside of you, be beside you, be on top of you, be all around you, but they want to be in your space. They will stop at nothing to get in your space. They want your energy. They want your flow. They want to be like, how can I get some of that? Well, it looks like Simone is chasing Jonathan Owens. She's chasing a guy who, let's just say, I don't know anything about him, but by all intents and purposes, he has a $7 million contract that could bust out to $50 million in due time. I doubt very seriously if he'll get that money because unlike the other sports, NFL contracts are not guaranteed. The NFL is short for not for long. The average time span in the NFL is about 2.5 years. So you're not really going to play that long. And if you get a career-ending injury, hopefully you've got a lot of insurance on your body to where you can get paid. However, Simone's checks are already in the bank. Her endorsements are already in the bank because she is a good catch. Women have a problem with not recognizing exactly how good of a catch they are. Men like to hunt big game. Men like to go fishing. Men like to climb trees. Nobody ever said men like to jump off trees. Men like to be hunted. Men like for the fish to try to go and find them. That's not the way it works. So when you do a role reversal in a relationship like that, and you might like somebody. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going after what you want. Please do not confuse the message. It's about the method that you use to go after what you want. If you're using a particular method that looks thirsty, crusty, needy, too wanty. I made that word up, but it sounds good. You're too wanty, needy, crusty, and greedy, and thirsty. Nobody wants that hoe over there. Here's the problem I'm having with Simone and her friends. Simone's friends have failed her. Oh, yes, honey. They need to say, bitch, go over and listen to Girl Get Your Act Together because I'm your homegirl. I can't tell you what I really think about your man because I was in the wedding. I can't really tell you what I think about how much of a loser that Negro is because I don't want you to cut me off. I want us to stay friends. Your mama can't tell you the truth. You're adopted. She may be feeling like, you might be like, well, you're not my real mama anyway. Or you're not my real daddy anyway. You know how people, let me tell you something. If you try to tell a woman about a man that she's been chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing, she finally got him to marry her. If you try to tell her anything about that man, I guarantee you, she's going to find the next AR-15 and try to blow your head off. But better yet, the way she's going to do it is not with an AR-15. She's going to go back, tell the guy every single juicy, salacious thing that you said, every opinion you had about how wonderful she is and how she can do better and how she should demand better, how she should command better and ask for better. And instead of her interpreting that good advice, oh yes, she's going to use that good advice as a weapon and her new means of giving information to her man to make her man feel like she's more on his side than her girlfriend's side, which that means, oh, baby, I believe what you say, not what my girlfriends are telling me. So then he's going to figure out what the girlfriends have said, go down the list and say, they don't mean well for us. They don't want to see us happy. They don't want us to be together. You don't need to be around them. Those aren't your real friends. And then she starts to think to herself, maybe they're not my real friends. You know what? I did marry you. You do love me, baby. Baby, everybody, it's just me and you against the world. That's what dudes do to isolate you from your girlfriends when they don't want you to hear the real truth. They can even do that with your family. If they don't like what your mom and them are telling you, if they don't like what your daddy is saying, if you have daddy issues, then a man can tell you whatever he wants to tell you, you're going to believe it. If you got mommy issues, a man can tell you once and you're going to believe it. But if you don't have mommy and daddy issues and a man tries to tell you some craziness, you're not going to believe it. You're not. Because you've heard your daddy tell you the real tea. You've heard your mama tell you the real tea. So Simone, here's my word to you. I'm going to give you some good information. And I know that you're living up in the woodlands. I know you just right down the street from where I am. I'm going to probably tag you and direct message you this message. So ladies and gentlemen out there in Radio Land, go ahead and take a coffee break. You don't need coffee. You just need the caffeine from the coffee. I need you to get some pep in your step before you listen to this podcast, this radio station. Because guess what? I'm going to let you know what happens when you chase a man. How to chase him if you want to chase him. Because guess what? I've chased a man before. Yes, I have. I'm not telling you nothing I don't know, but the Negro didn't know I was chasing him while I was chasing him, so I was so gangster with it. I was so incognito, he had no idea that the ruse is on him. And guess what? Bam, got a ring out of it. Matter of fact, got 5 rings out of it. So, there's a method to the madness. I'm not saying, ladies, don't go after what you want. That's not the message. Be not confused, okay? Go after what you want. First, number 1, make sure it's something you really want and need. Make sure it's good for you. Number 2, make sure that if you're going to give on the chase, that you can actually stick to the rules of the chase, all right? There's a game to it. I'm going to give you some game. I'm going to drop some knowledge on you. There's a reason why I've been engaged 5 times and married twice, okay? Now, listen. I've had every guy run after me, but I had to choose for them to run after me. Okay? I had to choose to be chased by who I want to be chased by. And it looks like Jonathan Owens was getting chased all of his time through his no-name college that he went to, all that time when he was just trying to make it on the team when he wasn't drafted. He was trying to chase the NFL. Now that he got the NFL, he acts like he don't really need it. He's like, okay, I'm good. But guess what, Simone? I'm going to change your way of thinking about how you feel in your relationship, because now that you're in a marriage, I got to save your ass. I got to save you, because it seems like you have all of the good intentions of being a good wife. And the last thing you want is for that loser ass dude that you married to turn you into a bad wife. That's one that's walking around with the resting bitch face. Ladies out there who are married with a resting bitch face, you got a resting bitch face because your man ain't the one that's acting right for you. You're not getting all the accolades. You're not getting the flowers. You're not getting the attention. He's not propping you up. Because guess what? When they prop you up, you got them. When they feel like, listen, I prop my wife up on a pedestal. She's like an Oscar. She's like a Grammy. She's like a Golden Globe. I got to put her ass up on a shelf because she's so dope. I got to make sure nobody else can touch her. I got to make sure no dust gets on her. I got to make sure you don't take a picture with her because I got to make sure I covet her. I got to make sure that she knows I'm the only one that can give her everything that she needs. I'm the only one that can do it like I do it to her, give it like I give it to her, spend on her like I spend on her, raise her up like I raise her up, prop her up like I prop her up, and guess what? Make her feel like the best, most loved, cared for woman in the world, and make all the other wives jealous that their husband ain't doing it like I am. Every man that's married to a woman should have that same mentality. If your husband doesn't have the mentality about you, baby, he got it about somebody else. If he's not making you feel like that, baby, there's something you may have done to cause him to feel some type of way. Maybe he started off chasing you, and then halfway through the chase, you started turning around chasing him. What's on your phone? Who you calling? Where you going? Who you been with? Who you hanging out with? What you doing? Who you tweeting? Who you texting? Who's in your DMs? Well, that becomes you chasing him, worried about what he's doing. I don't worry about anything except for what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is so fantastic and amazing. My man wants to be a part of it. Now, you got to make your man want to be a part of everything that you're doing. So, Simone, I'm going to give you some tips when I come back. Here is the top T on It's Debatable with attorney Nyanza Moore on 953 Jams. All right, everybody, we're back. So I'm going to talk more about Simone Biles during the Girl Get Your Act Together podcast. So you got to tune in and listen in about 30 minutes. But let me go on to some tea. Now, I got a chance to catch up on some reality shows during the holiday. And I have to say, you know what? Let me tell you something. I can see through whack bitches in a heartbeat. The moment I saw the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City coming out with this new character named Monica, I said, okay. First of all, and I think I actually went on Monica's page, and I don't normally go on anybody's page on the Housewives. I mean, who do I follow? I forgot who I follow. I follow, what's the name of the one in Atlanta that likes the long hair? Anyway, I like her. I follow one lady on the Atlanta Housewives, and I follow Giselle Bryant from Potomac, and I follow nobody else. I follow Lanithia Leaks because she's my favorite. I want to be Nene's first cousin. But anyway, so I follow them. And then the moment I saw the Salt Lake City Housewives coming off with a new housewife, I was like, okay, they brought Mary back. And then they have this other girl named Monica on there. And I thought, now, she comes on there, and her claim to fame, the first time out the gate was, I was the snitch that told on Jen Shaw and testified against her in federal court. For some reason, I felt compelled to go on Instagram or whatever I went on to specifically find out who this whack woman was that got on television, who is a front. Let me tell you something. You may not like somebody. You may not agree with everything that they do. You may be a hater from not even the sideline. You may be a hater from another stadium. However, if you spend your time trying to figure out ways to destroy somebody else in their life, you spend your time trying to bring somebody else down, trying to report somebody to the feds, trying to get to testify just so that you can make it on TV, create a social media page to dog people out. Well, bitch, you don't need to be on television. People do that every day. That's not television worthy. What I'm interested in is real bitches. Okay? Stop bringing these whack women on these reality shows that are whack. They're only on there to fake like they got it when they don't. And I'm just saying, I hate to be this way, but this is what it is. They fake like they got it when they don't. They make everybody else feel like they have it when they don't. They make it seem like their marriages are perfect when they're not. They make it seem like their businesses are booming when we never heard of them. And I'm just saying, you can go on there trying to start a business, but can you already have some shit going on in your life before you get on the Housewives instead of saying, I'm going on the Housewives to expose my family, make us look like shit, and then I'm going to create a business and then everybody's going to follow. No, we're not going to buy your shit. We're not going to buy your product. You know why? Because if we don't respect you on the show, we're not going to support you financially. Because number one, you already told us that you have 15 homes and you're super rich. Now, of course, I don't have 15 homes. No, I don't. No, I don't need 15 homes. I have 2 kids. So why do I need to live in a mansion? Huh? Why would I need a 10,000 square foot home when I don't want to clean it up? That's number one. I don't want to clean up the little bitty house I live in now. And it's not little bitty, but I don't want to clean it. I already went off on my kids and my family yesterday about the dishes in the sink. Now, who am I going to go off on if I got 10,000 square feet? Okay? Number 2, if you are always out there trying to search for a reason to tear somebody up, they will slice and dice you. God will make a way that you get undone on television. When I watched the episode on Salt Lake City and I saw that, I was like, okay, you want to know what I said to Monica? Here's what I said. I think I have to go back and look at my Instagram post. I said, nope. I don't follow people who snitch, period. If your claim to fame is snitching on Jen Shaw to get on a TV show, bye, bitch. I think I said bye, B. I don't really curse people. That's not my thing. But I had to say it. And then that was the first 30 minutes of me seeing her intro on the show. Fast forward to 11 episodes later. Looks like I was right. I was right. Trust no one. Anybody that all of a sudden wants to get next to you, here's a lesson in trust. Anybody that's trying to get close to you, you have to ask yourself, why all of a sudden do you want to be my friend? Why all of a sudden do you want to be around me when we have nothing in common? Monica's first foray in the show was talking smack about one of the wives, talking about she puts too much emphasis on money. Well, bitch, she ain't broke. You are. You getting on the bus talking about your mama issues, talking about you got no car unless your mama lets you drive it. Why are you on The Real Housewives? You're not even a housewife. Apparently, the woman that they chose for the show is not somebody that women out there that are in married land would want to watch. She's the kind of woman that slept with her brother-in-law and destroyed her family. Do women in America want to be like her? No. I thought they were supposed to have aspirational lifestyles. You want an aspirational lifestyle? My lifestyle is aspirational because my husband is good. My children are good. They're not assholes. But I'm not about to be on there talking about how much money I got. Because guess what? Guess what all these dummies do? They go on there talking about how much rich they are, and then the feds start listening, and then the feds start calculating, well, your money's not adding up to your possessions. And so I'm not really sure how you can afford a 25,000 square foot mansion and you make $100,000 a year. Somebody tell me that. They did the same thing to Quad. Quad over there on the Housewives of, Married to Medicine. She out there buying a $2 million house knowing she's making 50 cents a week. I'm like, come on now. So I really, really, really want one of these shows to get a real bitch on there. All right? Just get one real solid bitch. Somebody that I can be like, yes, ma'am. She keeps it real all the time. She ain't worried about what them other hoes got to say. She ain't worried about what they got to do. She ain't worried about what their kids. She ain't worried about that. I want somebody who's going to be on there giving a authentic clap back. Not some clap back that she planned last week that she can say on the show. I need some witty, pretty women on the shows. Somebody I didn't want to look at Monica. I was like, girl, you too broke. You up in the thrift store and looking like you can't afford the thrift store. You're up there. I mean, I was like, what? And the way she talked to her mama, I was like, you don't need to get on TV talking to your mama like that. And just to come down, find out she is Reality Von Tease. Reality Von Tease fooled the producers of the Housewives of Salt Lake City into putting her whack butt on television to go ahead and pretend that they were having some big old outing at the end with Heather. And you know what? Let me just tell you this. I can appreciate all the women say, oh my God, we let her in. I can't believe that she betrayed us. But she wasn't your friend in the first place. I mean, nobody told you all to tell that woman all your business. I'm sorry, but you need to start checking people's backgrounds. Okay. Let me just put it to you like this way. Everybody's not supposed to be in a clique, all right? Cliques have a common denominator between them. Women, I can only speak about women cliques right now. I'm going to talk to you about the men cliques that I've seen. But from my own personal experience, in women's cliques, you're either linked together by your organization. That's one clique. That is like your sorority or whatever groups you in. Or you can be linked together by your church group. Those are the Women for Christ. Or you can be linked together by your kids group, like the people that go on the play dates. I hang out with the play date mommies. That's my other clique. However, in your real life girlfriend clique, that's where you get to choose your clique mates, okay? So when you choose your clique mates, you have to make sure everybody that you're clicked up with is comfortable in that particular environment, all right? You have to be surround yourself and let me just tell you this. Let me just tell you what to do right now. Okay. Go on your social media platform. Look at your top 10 people that you hang out with mostly, all right? You're hanging out with these people on your social media. Now, what do you have in common? What are your common traits? One of them should be social standing, all right? Social standing should be a common denominator between you and your friends in your tight clique, okay? Social standing, you know what that means. I don't have to break it down to you. Are you one of the people that are, in high school terms, are you in the popular crew or the whack crew? That's number one. Number two, professional standing. Are the people in your crew, you don't have a whole lot of lawyers and doctors and judges hanging out with prostitutes and drug dealers. So professionally, you got to be in the same kind of space. Because let's just say you may have a lot of doctors and lawyers hanging out with drug dealers because they got the loot. Okay, they are able to buy the same things. They're not going to get jelly gel. No, the point of it all is whoever is in your clique, you have to make sure that all of you have the same kind of lifestyle. You got to be, if you're all 10s, hang out with a group of 10s so that you know you'll always get past the velvet rope when you go to the club. You got people in your group that are like professionals. You got doctors and lawyers and judges hanging out. Well, that's mostly my crew, doctors and lawyers and judges hanging out because, I went to law. I mean, what do you expect? Heck, you think I'm gonna be out there hanging out with bums? No. So what that means is we got a little bit more loot than the other people. So if I want to go be VIP at a party, I can be VIP. And if my friends want to pay for VIP, sometimes they can pay for it. But it's not always me paying for it. It's sometimes my friends paying for it. And guess what? If I don't have to worry about them stealing from me. I don't have to worry about them shading me. I don't have to worry about them judging me about how much money I'm spending on whatever. If we decide to go to the mall, I don't have to do any of that. And if you got a lot of women in your crew that are not married, well, you're going to have an issue there. You can't have a whole lot of crew and women in your crew that aren't married if you're married because they might want your husband. And then you don't want to have that kind of energy in there because listen, if you got a fine husband like I do, you know the bitches are looking and I'm okay that they're looking because he's something to be looked at. I want people to want to look at my man and just stop it right there because he's not going to go to you because he's getting everything he needs. But then again, if you have a crew of thirsty thoughts in there that snuck up in there, you're not going to know it. You got to do some detective motions. You have to always check the background of the bitch that's coming in your crew. You have to always make sure you know her rap sheet. Whenever somebody tries to come around and say, hey, I want to introduce you to somebody. How do you know her? Where'd you meet her? How long have you known each other? Who she dated? Is she married? How many kids she have? Get all of their information before you let somebody just walk up and say, hey, I want you to introduce me to my new friend. No, I don't want to meet your new friends. I don't want to meet any of your new friends because if I've already known you for 15 or 20 years and you want to introduce me to one of your new friends, who the hell are they? Where they been all this time? Where'd they come from? Don't you have those questions? I would ask that all the time. Who are you? And because We are in a truth-telling time. You saw Katt Williams telling his truth. We want to talk about that? You saw everybody telling their truths. We're in a truth-telling time. These housewife shows, you need to start shaking them up, man. Everybody that you've had on these shows over for 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 years, they're no longer authentic. They're all faking it right now. They're not friends when they're on the off season. They all say that. They all hate on each other. They have clap, but they even have podcasts where they tag each other and talk shit about each other and then go on the show and the season. Hey, girl, that ain't real. I want to see I want to see what really goes down. I need the cameras in your house when you seeing it on TV when it breaks out that she said something about you in the other room while you were in the other room. That's what I want to see. This Monica chick on the Housewives of Salt Lake City, man, listen. She started destroying them from the gate. She was talking smack about every single person on there. And then with her being reality Von Teese, she's the brokest one on there. And if the producers, I feel like they almost set the women up. They set the women up. I don't know for sure, but it seems too fake like a setup. How are you going to go the whole season and you let a person who's brand new on the show take up all the oxygen? Her storyline, her birthday was a thing in Bermuda. Then her family never showed. I was like, come on now. This is some BS. Like, look, you know what? I'm not here for it. And then I thought to myself, and this is the same whack woman who was up under Jen Shah. And you know what? I don't care what Jen Shah did. I don't care. All I care about is the bitch who was recording her and who decided to go in and tell the feds. That's what I care about. Okay? I don't know the intricacies of her legal battles. But one thing I do know for sure is this. If the feds got tea from a snitch, and then a snitch who likes to go on national television right after that and tell lies about all the women, then you might have a good basis for an appeal, Jen Shah, because it looks like more than likely Monica made up stories about you and sensationalized stories about Jen Shah just so that she could go to trial, just so that she could find a way on television, and it just about worked out. Because guess what? She got on television just like that. Used to be you had to be fly. Used to be you had to be married. Used to be you had to be rich. Used to be you had to be a star to be on the Housewives. Now it looks like you can be a trailer park bum with a mama that didn't really want you, and then a man that you cheated on with his brother. Used to be that you had to be something that women wanted to watch. I'm not trying to watch the National Enquirer on television. I could just flip through the magazine for that. I'm trying to watch something fun on television. I'm trying to watch how women interact when they're being their most authentic selves. All right, I'll take a break right there. We'll talk about Katt Williams when I come back. All right, everybody, we're back. So we're going to talk about, in case you've been living under a rock, if you transition from 2023 to 2024 living under a rock, I'm going to bring you up to speed and give you some light. Okay, so over the last few days, everyone has been all up in arms about Katt Williams and his interview on Shannon Sharpe's podcast. And I didn't see the original interview and watch it the whole way through. I just watched some clips. But I know you ready for this tea. Let me tell you something. All right. Here's what I have to say. If you were able to listen to my show 7 months ago, I had a show about the Illuminati. I did. I hope you didn't miss it. If you missed it, we're gonna do some. Hey, Sherelle, we're gonna replay the Illuminati one later on. We're gonna post some clips from my Illuminati episode. I did an Illuminati twice. I did an in-depth discussion of the Illuminati, what their goal is, how their process is, and also had images from one of their meetings at the lodge that they meet at, where all the men are up there dressing like women. All right, remember? Okay, let me bring you up to speed. For those of you who do not know the story, Katt Williams did an interview with Shannon Sharpe and was discussing a lot of the things that go on in Hollywood that most of us do not know about, or most of us only hear rumors about but aren't sure. So we know that comedians, they have a show called The Kings of Comedy. Shout out to my lawyer, Ricky Anderson, who is the lawyer for the Kings. I love Ricky. Anyway, so Ricky Anderson is my lawyer, and he's also the lawyer for the Kings of Comedy. And when I saw that there was an interview with Katt Williams, I thought, wow, Katt Williams would be great on the Kings of Comedy. He is so funny. He's like my all-time funniest comedian. Him, Eddie Murphy from back in the day, Eddie Murphy Raw. You know the good old days. So when I saw the interview that he did with Shannon Sharpe, where he was just exposing everybody, I thought, ooh. Goody, 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 goody. Now, Katt Williams is a truth teller. And my best friend Julia told me a long time ago, truth tellers have no friends because the people that they're telling the truth on don't want to be exposed. I have to say, I believe Katt Williams. I do. I know. There's something about the delivery, the timing, and his receipts. The receipts are all matching up to every claim that he has made. Now, we're going to start off with one of the claims. Now, it looks like he claimed that, oh gosh, there's so many claims. He claimed that Ludacris and he had the same opportunity. And when asked to wear a dress or do something that would emasculate a man or make him seem like a punk ass, that he wouldn't do it. But in the same instance, he was told that you would get $20 million, but somebody has to be bald head and somebody has to have the chops. Like, these people have already made up the image of the black men they want to put out there. So in order for you not to be too masculine, we got to put you in a dress. That's just the way I feel like it is. We don't want you to be, because think about it. Every black man out there that you see in Hollywood, they try to emasculate. They try to figure out a way to make him not seem as sexually profound, okay? Because black men across the world are known as having the most magnificent sexual prowess in any walk of life. United Colors of Benetton about 30 years ago did research in their magazine when they had the big giant magazine, and they lined up all the naked men from all of the nationalities across the world. It started with the African, and they judged it by penis size. You don't believe me? I'm telling the truth. Look it up. So they had naked pictures from the scale of penis size from the largest penis on average to the smallest. The largest is the African man, the black man. The smallest is the Asian man. Well, I saw that spectrum when I was in college, and I decided, well, I know what's for me. So because of that, I know I wasn't the only one to see that article that was put out by the United Colors of Benetton. So when that article came out, I'm sure the Hollywood gangs were like, oh my God, they said the black man has the biggest dick and it's been confirmed. Yes, he does. We got to put him in a dress. We got to put him in a skirt. If we have too many black actors knowing that they have the biggest dick, we not even want them to tell them go ahead and blow me. Well, apparently that's the allegation that Katt Williams made about, what's the guy that's in prison now? Harvey Weinstein. He said Harvey Weinstein asked him for a blowjob. And Katt was like, no, but he still got the job. And then he saw a couple of other guys that showed up on the set one day. And he was like, well, if he said no, what did they say to get here? Because, you know, there's certain personalities that cannot be bought. There's certain people that will stick to their moral standing, whatever they're saying. I don't care what it is. They will stick to it no matter what. They're like, I don't go down on men if you're a man. So that was a hard no for Katt Williams. It may not have been a hard no for other people. If they said, well, would you do it for $20 million? Would you? Ask yourself that. How much money is enough? I don't know. I can't see myself ever putting my face in between a woman's legs. If you have kids in the room, get them out of here. Ever. I don't care how much money it is. Because guess what? After I do that, I want to kill myself. I want to be allowed to spend the money. No shade to the lesbians, but that's not my bag. That's not what I do. So if you got me going out of my comfort zone to that level, I have to ask, why are you asking me to do that in order for me to share my talent? What is the goal here? The goal is control. Control your character, control your narrative, and be able to make you a star and take you out of orbit whenever they want to. Well, Katt Williams was like, hey, not me, but the other two, yeah. And what happens? Katt Williams dropped another dime. He said that, who's the little short one? Kevin Hart. Is he like 5'2"? Well, Kevin Hart is 5'2", I'm 5'11". So that part. So 5'2" is really small. My daughter's taller than Katt Williams, and she's 15. I mean, yeah, taller than Kevin Hart. So he said, where do you know anybody in Hollywood who's come to LA and in 1 year, just 1 year, has TV show, movie deal, blah, 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 all this. Then they put him with some woman. And this is another thing Katt Williams said. They put these guys with these biracial, Asian, non-black women to force them into a relationship, to say, this is who you need to be with. But that is the imagery that Hollywood wants to put out, that black men don't really love black women. That's a lie. Let me tell you something. Black men have been handled by the media, Hollywood, the government, everybody. Black men are what brings fear into the other men for some reason. And I don't know why, but they have to emasculate the black man. They have to devalue the black marriage. That's why you see all of the people on the commercials. If you have a black woman, she's not with a black man. If you have a black man, he's not with a black woman. But everybody else, they get to be with each other. You notice that? On the commercials, on the TV shows, everywhere in Hollywood. It's a black guy with somebody else and a black woman with somebody else, but never two black people together. It's like they don't want you to see the ideal Obama couple. They don't want you to see the Obama couple in the White House and think that your life could actually be like that. But that's the reality for black people. Black people really are not doing as bad as white people want us to think that we are. We're much more unified than people think. We're so much more woke. I mean, just come on. You have to think about it. If they spent so much time trying to figure out a way to destroy the black family, the image of the black family, the image of the black marriage, the image of the black man, then there must be something to fear. So I have to tell you, the things that Katt Williams was saying, I believe him, because people don't put themselves out there when they have a lot to lose. If they could lose it all if they put it out there. Case in point, Katt Williams is not hurting for dollars. So at this stage in his life, he's like, you know what? Let me go ahead and talk some smack. Let me go ahead and tell people how it really is. The same way Ray J felt like when he was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and talk some smack. Let me go ahead and admit that was a planned out sex tape. That was Kris Jenner putting it all in motion. That was blah, blah, blah. It wasn't something that was stolen. So now we know. We thought it, but now we have confirmation. So Ray J was a truth teller. Now Katt Williams is like, I'm a truth teller on everybody in Hollywood. So then you have him doing his truth telling, and then you have a clapback about Ludacris coming out. But I have to say, is Ludacris really that talented? I'm not really sure. He had a couple of hits that I listened to when he was like on there with Ashanti back in the day, but he had that fire party that was a flop that he got sued about. Then he's got all these movies that he's in. But really, is he that talented of an actor? I don't know. It's debatable. I mean, I'm not sure. But there are so many more talented actors that I could think of to make $20 million as opposed to Ludacris. It's actually quite ludicrous that he's been so successful for all these decades. But if the Illuminati decides to pluck you out of obscurity and tells you, if you do these three things, I'll make you into a star and make you $20 million richer. But you have to marry who I say you got to marry. You got to do what I tell you to do. But for some people, the money matters. And for Ludacris, he realized, I'm not going to be famous all the time because my raps are really not that great. I'm not tall enough. I'm not good looking enough. And if the Illuminati wants to give me a deal, I'm going to take it. Well, then let me tell you something. It may not be a bad idea. If the Illuminati makes you an offer, you can't refuse. Because some of y'all need the Illuminati to step in and help you out. I'm sorry. It can be pagan, satanic, whatever. Some of those folks out there thirsting after Hollywood fame, if the Illuminati makes you a deal, take it. Take it. It may not hurt you so bad. If you're a bum on the street, it may upgrade you. But there's going to be some give and take in that relationship. They're going to control you. And you may not want to be controlled. But then again, if your life is not going the way you want it to, then let them control you. Now, I do have one thing to say about the shade that came out that wasn't a part of Katt Williams. But when you have really, really good comedians like Mark Curry, I always loved Mark Curry. He was always funny. Who got called out? Oh, yes. Steve Harvey, a king of comedy, got called out for allegedly stealing Mark Curry's jokes. But it's not even allegedly because he did it. I have sound for that. So it looks like there was an interview from 2019 that shows Mark Curry calling out Steve Harvey for stealing his joke. Steve Harvey's trying to act like it didn't happen. But here's the thing. I've never really thought that Steve was that funny. You know, when I think about the comedic greats, I really think about Bernie Mac, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Raw Days. You know, not Kevin Hart, not these people that just showed up. I mean, Tiffany Haddish. You know, I thought that Simone was more funny than Tiffany Haddish. Y'all remember Simone? She did a joke on stage during Def Comedy Jam. She said she was getting heckled by a guy that was talking about how big her lips were. And he was like, yeah. You need to S my D with all those lips. And she said, honey, if I sucked on you, it'd be like a whale sucking on a Tic Tac. Best joke I ever heard in my life from any woman. So why wasn't she in the movie instead of Tiffany Haddish? It's not like there's an empty space that can't be filled because there's no talent. It's just that the people that may not have been able to implode and rise up to superstardom like other people, maybe they didn't sell their souls to the devil. Maybe they weren't just willing to do anything to make it. So when somebody asks you in Hollywood, what would you do to make it? If Harvey Weinstein asked all those women in Hollywood, what would you do to make it? And they said, I would do anything. Well, he said, anything starts now. Get down on your knees. Would you get on your knees? If it was a guarantee, ask yourself, don't judge. Don't judge anybody for what they did to make it. That's the only issue I have with Katt, is that what you choose for your life is your choice. And your choice, you live with it. But what the others chose for their lives is their choice as well. You can't be mad that Kevin Hart is sitting on 20 M's. You can't be mad that other actors were willing to put on a dress when you weren't. It's called acting. But I can understand if you're a black man, feel like, hey, that's not power to the people. I got 5 black sons and 5 black daughters. I don't want to look like that. Well, guess what? I would have put on the damn dress. Yes. I may not go dick to jaw, ever, for nothing. I'm not going to do any sexual favor for anything. However, you want me to put on some clothing when, number one, everybody used to wear dresses back in Jesus' time? Then you have to think about it. Sometimes your principles can get in the way of your pocketbook. But I digress. I believe Katt Williams is telling the truth. I believe Steve Harvey stole the joke from Mark Curry. I also believe that Said the Entertainer stole Katt Williams' joke about the pulling back and all that because Katt Williams already did it. And if you've stolen somebody's jokes and now you're a successful star, well, you can't really do any damage control. Just own it. Be like, hey, man, it wasn't like your joke was going to make the platform as wide, but it did when I did it. Thank you for letting me have it. Or just give a shout out to the guy you got the joke from. Maybe you perfected it and made it your own. But in the end of the day, if you happen to steal a joke, are you a real comedian? That's the better question. Why are you on television and the others are not? Why are there people writing their own jokes not on TV and you are? Why is it that people who can fake a story get on the Housewives and the others that actually should be on there are not on there? You have to ask all these questions. Why? Do they really want authentic people? Do they really want talented comedians, or do they really want puppets in Hollywood? I kind of think they want a puppet in Hollywood. And you always see that when people come into their own, people start thinking about their lives and looking back in perspective and thinking like, you know what? I don't really like some of the things I did. I don't really like that I have to, every time I want a movie role, I got to get on my knees. Or every time I want to get an acting gig, I got to lay on my back. That's a hard way to live. Because guess what? The pussy gets old. Oh, yes. And your back gets burnt. You don't want that. You need to always get in on your talent. And if you don't have any talent and it was a ruse that you got there, take the deal with the Illuminati because you're going to need it. All right, I'll be back. It's Friday morning and you're tuned in to It's Debatable with attorney Nyanza L on 953 Jams.